Okay, let's get going. Okay, so now that we've talked about how everybody has a box above their head, okay, we are going to talk about what my box used to be. And still sort of is, because I do check in with that box every so often. But we are going to talk about what was in my box growing up. So this is going to be from age, let's say 13 through age maybe 25-ish. Okay. Yeah, so 13 through 25-ish. This was in my box. Are you ready? Oh, I'm so ready. Okay, let me actually get this typed out, and then we'll talk about it. All right, time to share my secrets. Spill my beans. What am I doing? It's gonna focus on me. Hello. Hello. Pick my nose, you know. First time I've done that, probably not the last. Okay, well, welcome back. I just realized that I could have used my banana magnets for the first time. Hello. Let's put them up here. Is my recording going? It is. Okay, we're good to go. Okay, so we talked about what your algorithm is, but what is Phoebe's algorithm? Let's talk about it. So I need to tell you, I'm very afraid of sharing this. This is my box for the last so many years, you know? And actually, the first one we're going to talk about is even younger than that. Okay, so we're talking before 13 years old. I was listening to a couple of these. I'm in one I didn't even mention. Okay. Hi. Okay, let's get into it. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be telling you who's on this list. And without telling you what I identified as during my growing up, because it weaved and bobbed on what I wanted to be or what I thought I was, I'm just going to show you the people I listen to, and I'm going to tell you what Google is saying about their worldviews, and that way we can all know together what was in my box. So first we're going to look up Michael Savage. He was a radio host in San Francisco, and you could hear him all over the US, and I'm guessing parts of the world if you had the internet or the radio station that would play it. He was based out of Seattle, and let's see here. We're going to look up Michael Savage. We're going to say, what political affiliation does he have? Okay, so as an American radio host and political commentator, Michael Savage is a conservative and an independent. His political philosophy is focused on borders, language, and culture, and he identifies as an independent-minded individualist. Okay, now we're going to talk about Focus on the Family. Now, Focus on the Family is not innately political, but there are a lot of family values that are based on Christianity in this. And I don't know if you've seen the news recently, but a lot of Christianity has been brought up. A lot of Christianity is talked about in the US, and there are a lot of Christians in the US. I'll put up statistics right here of how many Christians there are in the US just as a whole. What political affiliation is Focus on the Family? Okay, so Focus on the Family is a politically conservative evangelical Christian organization. Since its founding in 1977, the organization and its affiliates have promoted a conservative religious and social agenda through various media and political activities. And we'll get into that later, but we got to move on first to the next person, who is, of course, Fox News, okay? So I didn't have cable, but I had friends that had cable and other access to cable news. YouTube, of course, has all this cable news, and Fox was part of it. So let's see. The AI overview, sorry everybody who hates AI, it says Fox News is a conservative-leaning news outlet that is widely considered to have pro-Republican and conservative political bias. Academic studies and media analysts have documented its tilt and its effect on public opinion and voting behavior. Let's see. It also gives highlights. It says key aspects of its political stance include conservative slant, Republican support, separation of news and opinion, influence on elections, and important distinctions within Fox's conservatories and different perspectives. Okay, we're going to go now to my pride and joy at the time of listening, and that was Steven Crowder. Okay, so about Steven Crowder. Steven Crowder holds strongly conservative political views, which he promotes through his commentary, including his show Louder with Crowder. Throughout his career, he has expressed positions that align with the right-leaning side of the political spectrum. Okay, so I watched a lot of him. Now we are going to talk about someone that I watched a lot less and honestly forgot that I used to look at. But yeah, Paul Joseph Watson was another one. I don't even know if he's still making stuff today. That's something that I have questions about. Paul Joseph Watson, it's giving me Wikipedia. Paul Joseph Watson is a British YouTuber, radio host, and conspiracy theorist. In 2002, he began working at the American radio host Alex Jones' website InfoWars, where Watson promoted and advocated for 9/11, chemtrail, and New World Order conspiracy theories. He would later promote fake news stories like Pizzagate. He later shifted his focus to criticism of feminism, Islam, and left-wing politics. Watson also contributes to InfoWars' talk radio program, The Alex Jones Show, which he occasionally hosts or co-hosts. Now, I did not watch Alex Jones. I'm sure I saw him come up on Steven Crowder because guess what? They are affiliated also. And when I would go online and I would watch Steven Crowder videos, Paul Watson would always show up. And I found him to be kind of scary, so I would listen. But a lot of what he said was more severe than my thoughts, or maybe severe isn't the right word. Extreme is the word I would use, but those have all connotations, so I'm trying not to give that to you. But I would watch Paul and Steven, and they would definitely, all of these guys would be in the same algorithm together when an issue would come up. Another person that would come up is PregerU. So let's look up what political affiliation is PregerU. Okay, so PregerU is a conservative nonprofit organization that provides content from a right-wing perspective. While not directly affiliated with a political party, its content promotes conservative and capitalist viewpoints. And next we're going to do Ben Shapiro, because of course Ben Shapiro is a part of this algorithm. I mean, come on guys, 2 in 1, 2 in 1. Mind you, I was born in 96. So by the time I was 13, I don't know what year it was, but it was early 2000s at that point. Okay, so this is when I was coming onto the scene and reading about this stuff and listening. And it's crazy to think of how young I actually was getting involved in these ideas, but this is my truth. Ben Shapiro is a prominent American conservative political commentator, media host, and attorney. He is one of the biggest names in American conservatism and is known for his traditionalist and right-leaning viewpoints. He is also the co-founder and editor emeritus of the conservative media company, The Daily Wire. Okay, so you could subscribe to his stuff, but he also had a lot of YouTube things for free. Also, I'm pretty sure everyone from Kingdom Come at this point has a subscription base too, just so they get more income from what they do. And this one seems weird, but this kind of matches with the focus on the family part. So if you notice so far, all of these people, okay, whether they're religious or not, are talking about politics. All right, and then this one, on the other hand, these two, are both talking about religion. Or if you ask people how they would define what these two people are talking about, they are talking about faith. This is their faith. So religion, faith, whatever you want to call it, that's what they would talk about. And we are going to look up Ravi Zacharias now and see what politically he affiliated with, because he is not in the same bubble as these guys, because he was not dealing with politics, even though inadvertently he eventually did talk a lot about politics in his own way. It was not, I don't think that is what is on his channel's description. So let's see here what political affiliation is Ravi Zacharias. This is not coming up right away because, again, he talked about Christianity, not politics directly. So let's go to his Wikipedia page. And I guess we can just read kind of the first topic. Okay, Frederick Anthony Ravi Kumar Zacharias, March 29th, 1946 through May 19th, 2020. That's right, he is passed. Was an Indian-born Canadian and American Christian evangelical minister and Christian apologist who founded Ravi Zacharias' International Ministries, other known as RZIM. He was involved in Christian apologetics for over 40 years, authoring more than 30 books. He also hosted the radio programs Let My People Think and Just Thinking. Now, I didn't listen to these programs, but I did watch his apologetics and his speeches because they were everywhere on YouTube. Okay, so that's what I listened to, is the YouTube side of it. There's not even a mic in here, just whoa. Okay, anyways, Let My People Think and Just Thinking were his two programs. Zacharias belonged to the Christian and Ministry Alliance, the Keswickian Christian denomination, in which he was ordained as a minister. I didn't even know that. I just thought I agreed with most of what he was saying. So that's who I was listening to on YouTube. This guy deserves his own segment. The next person we're talking about is, of course, Dave Rubin. Before we get into Dave Rubin and what his affiliation is, I'm going to describe to you what his YouTube channel did. He was part of a political party. He saw how it was going, and he didn't like what he saw. So in response, he left this political party, and he went to the other side and started his own YouTube channel. And what he did in this YouTube channel was he invited whoever would come on to talk about politics, which, by the way, included people from Fox News. It included Steven Crowder. It included Paul Joseph Watson. It included PregerU. And PregerU really is... Dennis Prager was who he had on. He also had Ben Shapiro. And yes, he had Ravi Zacharias on. Because again, even though he's talking about religion, it intersected with politics in America. So these people were all hot topics, and they were all on Dave Rubin's show. But I've already talked about these people. So what other people did Dave Rubin have on? Let's find out. Before we talk about that, let's look up political affiliation of Dave Rubin, shall we? Dave Rubin's political affiliation is complex, having evolved from a left-leaning progressive to identifying as a classical liberal and libertarian, aligning himself with the political right. Early career, Rubin began his career as a progressive and worked for the liberal news commentary show, The Young Turks. Now, I did not like The Young Turks, but that's another conversation. Shift to classical liberalism. So in 2015, which was, remember, the year before the election of 2016, Rubin left The Young Turks and launched his own show, The Rubin Report. This transition marked his shift away from the progressive left, which he criticized for increasingly focusing on political correctness and groupthink. Current views. He has since identified as a libertarian and aligns with conservative viewpoints, though he rejects strict political labels. I can get down with that. He is frequently featured on right-leaning media platforms such as Blaze Media, and has criticized the modern Democratic Party for its direction. So I started following him in 2015 when he started his own show called The Rubin Report. Didn't even mention that, I don't think. And he had this woman on, Christina Hoff. I honestly haven't seen her in years, so let's find out what she's up to. Man, I should really look into her. I will. Summers has called herself an equity feminist, equality feminist, and liberal feminist. The next person I saw that I really was fascinated by was Cassie Jaye. If you didn't know, she is a rightsman activist, and she even started and produced her own documentary about men's rights. So I watched that in 2016, I believe it came out, maybe 2017, but I did eventually watch it and was informed by it. Cassie Jaye's political affiliation has shifted from liberal feminism to an advocate of gender equality activism, though she is no longer identifying as a feminist. Her views evolved after making the documentary The Red Pill, which examined the men's right movement and led her to question her previous beliefs and assumptions about gender. Her former affiliation, liberal feminist, Jane initially identified as a liberal feminist, believing in advocacy for women's rights and gender equality. Her current stance, gender equality activist, questioning feminism and influenced by the Red Pill. Her documentary explored the men's rights movement and led her to a humbling experience where she reassessed her feminist beliefs. So that's who I was listening at that point. And then we, of course, have to talk about Milo. I'm pretty sure you pronounce his last name Yiannopulos. I don't know how to spell that. It's spelled Yiannopulos. LOS, excuse me. Woo. Let's see, Milo, Wikipedia. It says Milo Yiannopulos, born in October of 1984, is a British far-right political commentator. His speeches and writings criticize Islam, feminism, and social justice. Oh my God. Hold on, look at the finger, not at me. Okay, look at the finger over here. Don't look at me. Look over here while I say this, all right? Milo is a British far-right political commentator. His speeches and writings criticize Islam, feminism, and social justice. I can do this. Milo is a former editor of Breitbart News, an American far-right news and opinion website. Your boy is gay, okay? And your boy also said that being gay was bad, or is bad, because he's still alive today. And I have saved the creme de la creme, everybody's favorite person, for last. I'll give you a second to think about who it might be. You guys betting money on this? Let's find out. All right, here we go. Are you ready? Did you guess? Have you won? Ta-da! It's Jordan Peterson, of course. Hey, of course I know Jordan Peterson. Now, if you didn't know, after Dave Rubin came on the scene, he started to get pretty big. He was getting a lot of huge names. And this, of course, was after his famous argument on his school property in Canada talking about gender. I'm pretty sure it was gender. So let's look up his affiliation, shall we? Don't forget this. Jordan Burnt Peterson. Middle name is Burnt. What? Sorry. What? If my name was Burnt, would I be okay with that? I don't know. I didn't know that though. Jordan, weird middle name, but I'm kind of vibing with it. Jordan Burnt Peterson is a Canadian psychologist, author, and media commentator. He received widespread attention in the late 2010s for his views on cultural and political issues. Often described as conservative, Peterson self-identifies as a classical liberal and traditionalist. So we have a lot of people under the Dave Rubin umbrella tout themselves as a classical liberal. Okay, and then on this side we have a lot of the word conservatism. So I'm not going to tell you what I was because I don't even know if I really knew, but I will tell you that this was a lot of the algorithm that I was consuming. And we even get into the territory of the word being used. I'm gonna try not to feel any way about this either way, but we also heard the word, okay, conspiracy came up, okay, specifically with Paul Watson. Now, remember what I said, I was very nervous to kind of watch his stuff, and I much preferred Steven Crowder over Paul Watson's information, but still I was there taking in what he was saying. So this was my base of information. Okay, so now you know. You can make your own judgment on that. You can tell me your honest reaction, but I want you to know that this is my story. And I have changed and I do not listen to these people anymore. Shocker, oh my God, I don't know if you've been on my Instagram, but I don't think this way anymore. But I wanted to show you what was in my box for the majority of my life. Honestly, I find this to be good as the base so you know where I'm coming from again. So you know who I have been and who I was and then who I've turned into. And that's really just part of the next part of the story. So we'll get there. We will get there. That's it for now. Drop my banana.